Franky was a drug-sniffing superstar for Miami-Dade police. But it's a routine sniff from a marijuana grow house 5 years ago that could make this chocolate lab the subject of a constitutional question at the U.S. Supreme Court. It started here at this house in Homestead, Florida, where Detective Douglas Bartelt brought Franky to the archway. The dog alerted, and officers discovered a marijuana grow house inside. But then the Florida Supreme Court ruled the search unconstitutional, saying police can't bring a drug dog to the door of a private home. Florida prosecutors are challenging that ruling, saying essentially that a dog sniff is not a search.
The justices only hear 1 out of every 100 cases that's presented to them. I think this case is very likely to be reviewed.
Florida prosecutors worry that if the Supreme Court doesn't take the case, it will make it harder to detect illegal indoor marijuana grow houses, a continuing problem in South Florida and elsewhere.
The Supreme Court of Florida has drawn a line in front of the home, emphasizing our traditions that respect the sanctity of the home. But from a law enforcement perspective, if they're not able to use dogs to, in effect, in a relatively unobtrusive way, stand out, sniff, alert contraband, that would be a big handicap.
The Supreme Court has said that thermal sensors used to detect heat lamps are a violation of the Fourth Amendment's protection against unreasonable searches and seizures. But is a dog's nose different?
The assumption is that all they will alert to is illegal activity. However, dogs are not infallible. Dogs are only human, you might say, in the sense that they're human trained and human handled.
I think the justices are likely to think of a drug-sniffing dog as kind of basically a dog. And in general, the justices are of the view that what you keep private, well, that's private. But what you let out into the world, smells, sounds, information about yourself, well, then that's public. And the government doesn't need a warrant to discover something that's public.
Criminal charges against the man at the center of the case, Joelis Jardines, remain on hold until the Supreme Court decides whether to take the case or let the Florida ruling stand. Tony Winton, Associated Press, Miami.